Thank you for coming in today.
No problem.
Did you find the room okay?
I did, thank you.
That's good to hear. So today's topic is going to be on friendship, past, present, future, and the different experiences that you've had. If there's ever a question that I ask that's a bit confusing, just let me know and I'd be more than happy to elaborate further for you.
Cool, no worries.
Okay, so I've got your consent form just here. Are there any questions or queries that you have?
No, I'm all good, thanks.
That's good to hear. So, before we actually start the interview, I am a bit curious as to why you decided to partake in this study.
Yep, so I signed up as part of one of my grades for one of my units to participate, get some participation points, and I chose the study because I thought it would be interesting.
Well, there you go. So I'm just going to turn the camera on now and then we can start the interview.
Perfect.
Alright. So, as I was saying before, we're going to be talking a bit about friendships, and I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about the friendships that you have or maybe have had.
Yeah, so when I was 10, I moved from New Zealand to Australia. So that was my first experience of kind of getting to know people who are already in a social group and trying to integrate myself in there. But after a year or so, like, it was totally fine. I made some great friends, and then I moved up from Busselton to Perth for university, and it's kind of that same kind of process, like trying to get to know people and know where you fit in their like already established social circle as well. Yeah.
And how would you say that moving countries has shaped the way that you make friendships?
Yeah, I would say that it has really taught me how to be confident in starting a conversation. I was not always confident in talking to people I didn't know, or even carrying on a conversation. I felt like I didn't know what to say. And as I've gotten older, I've kind of gotten better at it because I've had that experience. And so, so now I'm still learning how to ask questions that, lead on to other questions so you can have a conversation, that kind of thing.
And how would you describe the friendships that you have now?
I would say they're really good. I have a few different groups of friends. So I spend a lot of time at church because I'm a Christian, and so the young adults there that I've met, I have gotten to know them really well. So I spend a lot of time with them, but I also spend a lot of time with my uni friends and my non-Christian friends at uni. And so I've kind of split my time between the two groups and that kind of thing.
So you've said that you're a Christian. How would you say that your faith has affected the friendships that you make or maybe haven't made?
I feel like it's changed the kind of what I value in a friendship. And so I value people not just who have a faith in general, but like people who are kind and compassionate. I really like people who are mature but can have a fun time, but doesn't need to be wild or anything like that. And I like people who are, selfless and think of others first. So that's kind of like influenced how I choose friends and who I choose to be my friends, because even my non-Christian friends have those qualities in abundance as well.
And so how would you say the bonds have formed with both your Christian and non-Christian friends?
Yeah, I'd say time is a big one. Not only just spending time with them, but also keeping in contact over a long period of time is really important. Also getting to know them on a deeper level, having one-on-one conversations, and kind of slowly asking those bigger and bigger questions to kind of get to know them on a deeper level. Yeah.
And what does friendship mean to you?
Friendship is kind of like one of the many relationships that we have in life. So we've got ones with our family, our romantic ones, and then we have our friendships. And so I really feel like they're the ones that provide the support and in good times and in bad times, but also they are people who you can encourage and who they can encourage you, and that kind of thing. You can have a good time. So it's just one of the many relationships that we have in our life.
So you're obviously a uni student. How has being at uni shaped your friendships?
I would say that it's kind of introduced me to new people. So I've gotten to know people who are from different backgrounds, from Perth, who lived in Perth, and also people who've also moved up to Perth. And it's also, again, continues to build my self-confidence in asking questions. I find that it's quite easy to steadily build a friendship at uni, because you can start conversation by talking about the unit or your homework that you have and that kind of thing. And so I find it easier to build those relationships over time. Like, I still have friends that I met in first semester of my first year that I still get along with today. So yeah.
Okay, so how do you think you've maintained those friendships?
I would say quality time is the highest one. Conversation as well, asking them how they've been and they ask you how you've been. And yeah, that kind of wanting to know their well-being, that kind of thing. I think that's really important. And yeah, spending time, keeping in contact even when you're busy as well is really important. Yeah.
Okay, so obviously times change between primary school, high school, university. How would you say that your friendships have changed over that time period?
I'd say the people have changed definitely. Like, the people who I was close with in high school, I'm not always close with now. I also think the way that we approach friendships is different now that I'm older as well. Like, there's a lot less insecurity that comes into the kind of decision making in friendships and social situations. Like, we're all a lot more comfortable in ourselves and our social position, so we don't feel like we have to always go to every event to feel included, and we're not offended when sometimes by happenstance we get left out, that kind of thing. As I'm getting older as well, like, I'm also all my friends have different priorities. Like, most of us are studying, a few of us are in serious relationships, that kind of thing. So it's a different priorities and the different amount of time that we can spend hanging out together as well. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just hoping to change up the line of questioning a little bit here. We've been talking a little bit about the friendships, but I was hoping to ask you a question about loneliness. How do you think having friends, or maybe not having friends, has affected the way that you feel loneliness?
Yeah, I think by having that close core of friends that I've had since I came to Australia has really helped me, because in the times when I've isolated myself, when I'm busy studying or busy with work or busy with stress or anything like that, like, I have those core friends that always ask me how I'm going and ask me, like, if I'm okay and that kind of thing. So that kind of keeps me from really experiencing loneliness as well. And especially moving up to a new city where a lot of the time we are, like, spending time with others that we don't know, having that group to come back to is really helpful in preventing loneliness. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with me. Just got a couple more questions here today. How do you view friendships in modern society?
I'd say that the social media really comes into play here with the way that we perceive friendships and friendships of others. So I find that there's a lot of idealised images and that kind of thing that kind of makes us see friendship as kind of like more perfect than it is, when it doesn't really show like the other side, like the day-to-day side to it.
So obviously social media is always going to be evolving. How do you see your friendships evolving in the future?
Yeah, I see them growing deeper. I've got my core group of friends that I want to get to, maintain the level that I know them at, and also to get to know my newer friends as well on a deeper level.
Okay, well that concludes today's interview. We've talked a fair bit about friendships from the past and the future and the present. Talked a little bit about loneliness in modern society. Was there anything else that you would like to add?
No, I'm all good.
Alright, so I'm just going to turn this camera off now. There we go. Thank you for taking the time to come in today. Sorry, I've got a bit of something in my throat. If you're interested, we can send out an email with details on how to get the results for this study. The results probably won't be ready for a couple of months though, but I can give you my email, and if you have any questions or queries, please feel free to email them to me and I will reply just as quick.
Awesome, lovely, thank you.
No worries, well, thank you for coming.
No worries, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.